everyone. Welcome to Science Lab. The signs are happening because Lord Jesus is coming soon. Every day we are looking at some of the signs that are happening around us. In this episode, we are going to see about the strange things that are happening in the sky.
On April 10, 2019, scientists were finally able to do the unthinkable. They allowed humanity to look straight into the abyss of a supermassive black hole and take a photo like tourist attraction. But even after all these accomplishments, we still don't know much about the black holes at all, since one of them has challenged the whole scientific community with a new impossible feat.
In the middle of July 2019, black holes puzzled astronomers once again. New observations were made possible thanks to the famed Hubble telescope. By a team of European scientists, the studies showed that a relatively small black hole situated at the core of NGC 3147 contradicts all our expectations by almost completely mimicking its much bigger siblings.
To show you how exceptional this discovery is, I'll have to start with the most basic question. What is a black hole? It's the tiniest and heaviest object possible in the universe. It can swallow entire stars with ease and is absolutely invisible to human eye. But wait a minute. What was that giant, visible orange thing in the pictures then? Did scientists deceive us with another computer simulation? No, not at all. The photos are as real as it gets, except the image in the photo is not a black hole itself. I shall explain.
Let's compare some of the galaxies and black holes in their centers to further elaborate on this glaring difference. The brightest example would be the black hole in the middle of the largest galaxy known to us in existence, and the brightest galaxy of its cluster. This galaxy is so large that it would be hard to imagine it using just numbers. If the Colossus was to replace our own galaxy, it would not only take the place of the Milky Way, but also several neighboring galaxies altogether.
This giant is the IC 1101 galaxy. When it was first discovered, it was taken for a huge orange nebula, an aftermath of the supernova explosion. It took several years to get to the shocking truth. The orange color we see is a light of about 100 trillion stars collected in one elliptical galaxy. Most of them look like ancient red dwarf stars giving away their tired yellow and orange lights. But the biggest surprise was hiding in the middle of it.
What if a black hole swallowed the sun? Nearly every galaxy that we know of has a common feature, a supermassive black hole lying in its center. The black hole can be hundreds of thousands to billions of times the mass of our sun. Fortunately, though, even our own Sagittarius A star at the heart of the Milky Way is too far away to cause us any harm. But what if one appeared much closer?
To understand what would happen, we need to first look at how a black hole works. A black hole is an extremely dense stellar object with a large amount of mass packed into a very small area. NASA explains it as though there's a star that is 10 times as massive as our sun, but it's forced into a space about the size of New York City. This incredible process winds up distorting space-time and creating regions of seemingly infinite density called singularities. However, black holes don't just exist forever, relentlessly growing more and more massive. They actually lose mass faster than they gain it via the emission of random subatomic particles called Hawking radiation. Normally, this wouldn't make much sense, as nothing can escape a black hole, but these particles can become their quantum particles influenced by quantum mechanics, which means they more or less set their own rules. When a star like our sun is devoured by a black hole, it is called a tidal disruption event, or a TDE. TDEs are extremely bright and can often be confused for supernovas because of their luminosity. But this is no typical death of a star. Though standard light can't escape a black hole, matter from the star it consumes gathers in a glowing disk of debris around it, the accretion disk. In fact, only around half of the star is truly devoured at first, while the rest is flung away at nearly the speed of light. in a long trailing tail of dazzling particles. What we're seeing is seriously strong magnetic fields being twisted and broken apart, as well as what remains of the star being stretched out under immense force through what scientists call spaghettification. If this were to somehow happen to the Sun in an almost impossible turn of events, we wouldn't actually be aware that our now spaghettified solar centerpiece was even changing until a few minutes after it had already started, given the time it takes for light from the Sun to reach the Earth. So, even if we could do anything to stop it, which we couldn't, we'd be powerless until massive damage had already been done. Initially, we see the Sun begin to deform as its mass is drawn away by a seemingly invisible object. Soon, though, as the Sun's mass gathers around the accretion disk, we'd see the black hole siphoning its power through a thin stream of light like a straw. The Sun would then be torn and stretched to its extremes, with that long tail of light stretched outwards. It perhaps feels as though we should be quickly thrust into darkness back here on Earth, but that wouldn't be the case. Even though our Sun would effectively be being drained of light by the black hole, our Sun would actually glow far brighter than before as it's blasted with energy from the accretion disk. In such an event, the light produced could even be far more than our Sun would have given in its entire lifetime. We'd actually find ourselves bathed in such incredible brightness that even to look at the sky would now be difficult.
At this point, it would be safe to start the doomsday timers. The orbits of everything in the solar system would be thrown out of the balance by the immense gravitational pull, with all the planets inexorably drawn towards a certain destruction. Here on Earth, most likely we would perish from the sheer radiation of it all, or the extreme heat. But even if we somehow manage to take cover and avoid being fried to death, then our planet would find itself literally torn apart by a gravitational pull that's able to best even the Sun.
In the short term, this would mean massive earthquakes and forced eruptions of supervolcanoes, a seemingly doomsday scenario. In a long term, our once life-giving world would be nothing more than a smoldering fragment of rock still being drawn into the singularity. Say you could somehow watch all of this happening from afar. The black hole's destruction of the solar system wouldn't be instant, but it would follow a merciless pattern. First, the spaghettification of Mercury, stretching the planet closest to the now absent Sun into a long, thin line of matter, something scientists also call the noodle effect. Then Venus, Earth, Mars, the asteroid belt, and so on. Every single planet and object pulled closer and closer to the black hole, their particles ripped apart at the speed of light and added to the ever-expanding accretion disk. Before long, were the black hole to be big enough and were it to attract enough matter, it could find itself classified as a genuine quasar, a sprawling expanse far bigger than the solar system ever was and one of the brightest points in the universe. Eventually, even debris as far away as the outer edges of the Oort cloud would find itself pulled inward as record of our particular star system totally disappears. Luckily, a black hole isn't at all likely to form out of nowhere, so the chances of anything like this happening are very slim. In fact, our planet will probably be and is actually scheduled to be destroyed by our own Sun long before a black hole wanders our way. However, if you ever did look to the sky and wonder why the Sun looks a little out of shape, and if we ever were witness to a black hole gate crashing our galactic corner, then it'd mean nothing good and there would be no escape. Over time, were the black hole to form powerful enough to end the Sun, then it would most likely spell the end of everything else as well, with the entire solar system dragged inwards and stripped down to its most basic particles. The ever-growing accretion disk would signal monumental chaos and destruction for us. Though, were our fate to be viewed through a telescope in some other far-off galaxy, it would appear as simple as brighter than usual speck in the sky. And that's what would happen if a black hole swallowed the sun. Never before in the history of humankind, we are discovering the depths of the universe, and we're about to understand the universe as a whole. Why are there strange things appearing all around the world? Lord Jesus Christ listed out all the signs that will happen before His coming, and one of them is there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven. Lord Jesus Christ not only said fearful sights will appear, but also great signs from the heaven.
What is foretold in the Bible is happening in our lifetime. All this shows that we are living in the last days. Lord Jesus Christ is coming again very soon. Thanks for watching this episode. Don't forget to tune to Science Lab next time.
Send us photos, videos, news, and YouTube links which are worth sharing, and also send us your feedbacks to our email address sciencelab@angeltv.org. Suppose if you have missed any of these episodes, don't worry. You can watch it again and again in our Science Lab YouTube page. But don't forget to like, share, and comment on the video.
Ask your friends and relatives to watch Science Lab so that they will get to know that we are living in the last days. Remember, signs are happening because Lord Jesus Christ is coming soon. Maranatha.